All right, let's talk about one of the most respected credentials in the entire IT world, the Red Hat Certified System Administrator, or RHCSA. If you've ever wanted to prove you've got serious Linux skills, you're in the right place. We're going to lay out the ultimate game plan to get you certified. Let's jump right in. So look, you can read all the books, watch all the videos, but at the end of the day, a hiring manager has one simple question. Can you actually do the job when things get real? Answering that question with a resounding yes is exactly what the RHCSA was built for. And that's what makes it so different. This is not a multiple choice test where you guess the right command. No way. The RHCSA is 100% hands-on. They sit you down in front of a real system, give you a list of tasks, and say, go. You have to build, configure, and fix things live against the clock. It proves you can do, not just that you know. All right, Section 1. Let's dig into why this certification is such a big deal and why it should be your next mission. So why does it matter so much? Well, first off, that test by doing approach means employers trust it. When they see RHCSA on your resume, they know you've been in the trenches. It's also the essential first step if you want to get higher-level certs like the RHCE, which is all about automation. And if you're looking at government or defense work, it lines up with major requirements like DoD 8570, which is a huge plus. Okay, so we get the why. Now let's get into the what. Section 2 is our roadmap, the exam blueprint. Let's see what you're up against. Here are the vital stats. The exam code is EX200. Right now, it's on Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10. You get a solid 3 hours to get everything done. And here's a great little safety net. Red Hat gives you one free retake if you don't pass on the first try. That takes a little bit of the pressure off for sure. Now for the fun stuff. One of the absolute biggest parts of this exam is storage. You've got to know how to create partitions, manage logical volumes with LVM, create file systems, and make sure they're mounted just right. This is bread and butter sysadmin work, and they will test you on it heavily. Now check this out. Look at step 3, reboot and re-verify. This is the secret sauce of the RHCSA. It's not enough to just make it work once. Does your configuration survive a reboot? That's the real test. If you set something up and it disappears after a restart, you get 0 points for that task. Persistence is everything. Next up, another huge domain, security. Specifically, we're talking about the system firewall, firewalled, and the beast itself, SE Linux. You know, these are the two topics that trip a lot of people up, but you absolutely have to nail them to pass. And look, there's that pattern again. Maybe you have to get a web server working. You might open the right port in the firewall, but it's still not working. Why? Oh, the SE Linux context is wrong. So you fix it. And then what do? You guessed it. You reboot the machine to prove your fix is permanent. It's all about making sure your work sticks. Okay, that's a lot to cover, right? So how in the world do you prepare for all this? That brings us to Section 3. Let's lay out a concrete 8-week game plan that you can actually follow. We're not just throwing things at the wall here. This timeline is designed to build your skills layer by layer. You start with the absolute basics in week 1, getting comfortable in the shell. By week 3, you're getting your hands dirty with storage and LVM. Week 6 is all about tackling those tough security topics. And then the final week, week 8, is your final boss battle, running full timed mock exams to get that real deal exam pressure experience. All right, you've put in the work. You're feeling ready. Section 4 is all about exam day itself. We're talking insider tips and, more importantly, the common traps you need to avoid. First thing, you've got 2 main ways to take the exam, remote from your own space or at a dedicated testing center. The testing center is simple. You just show up and everything's ready. The remote exam offers a ton of flexibility. But, and this is a big but, the setup is all on you. Your hardware, your internet, your webcam, you're the one responsible for making sure it all works. And if you take away one single piece of advice from people who've taken it remotely, let it be this. Run that compatibility test early, not the day before, not the night before. Do it a week ahead of time. You never know what little hardware quirk or BIOS setting is going to cause a problem, and you want time to fix it. Seriously? For the remote exam, treat this like a pilot's checklist. Build your special live USB at least 3 days in advance. Ditch the Wi-Fi and plug in an Ethernet cable for stability. And get your room ready. They are very strict about a completely clear desk and empty walls around you. No exceptions. Now, I want you to remember one number. Just one. It's not the exam version, not the time limit. The most important number on exam day is 2. That is the minimum number of times you should deliberately reboot your machines. Once around the halfway point, to make sure everything you've done so far has stuck. And once at the very end, as a final check before you submit. Don't skip this. Okay, listen up, because this is a massive trap. People will find old study guides for RHCL 8 or 9 and just use those. Big mistake. While some basics are the same, the objectives do change between versions. Your single source of truth, your Bible for this exam, has to be the official EX200 objectives page on the Red Hat website, period.
All right, let's bring it all home. Section 5. You do all the work, you pass the test, you get that certification. What does it actually mean for your career?
This certification isn't a one-trick pony. Look at the doors it opens. Sure, the most direct path is a Linux administrator job, but it's also a fundamental skill for about a third of all DevOps and SRE roles out there. It gets you into platform support, and of course, it's the launchpad for becoming a Red Hat certified engineer or even an architect. So what's the bottom line? The RHCSA is a signal. It's a powerful signal to every employer out there that you're past the theory. It proves you have the real, hands-on skills to be trusted with their systems, and it shows you're serious about growing your career. So there it is. The plan is on the table. The goal is totally within your reach. Your 8-week mission starts the moment you decide it does. So the only real question left is, are you ready?